I feel like I need like a boom bap. Like, give me that break beat you had earlier. Give me something. Instrumental. Give me something. All right, maybe not. I'll handle it. I'll handle it. When I say cross, you say over. Cross, cross. When I say get, you say booked. Get, get. When I say IL, you say A. IL, IL. When I say follow, you say me. Follow. At Kwame Alexander on Twitter. Y'all follow me. No, I'm serious. Follow me. Hashtag get lit. All right, maybe not that. So now that Adora has done my entire speech, and she did it so marvelously, let's give her another round of applause. We begin today with a poem for the longing, for the melancholy, for the sorrow, but we must end with responsibility. For it is a smile, it is laughter, it is dance that will carry us through this storm that we find ourselves in. Is that me moving? Are they telling me to stay in one place? I was at a school visit, and the teachers took me out to dinner. I love being taken out to dinner. About 8 teachers, and we're at dinner, and we're having a good time, and we're eating, and we're chatting, and we're talking about literacy and the power of words, and a student walks in, and she has a copy of my book, and she's smiling, and she's beaming, and her teacher looks over to me, and she says, Kwame, this is one of the good ones. And what came to mind is that she was certainly proud of her student, but if she's one of the good ones, what is the fate of the other students in her class who are not necessarily one of the good ones according to her? The kind of language we use to describe, to label, to identify our children can be deadly and destructive. When we talk about, imagine calling a child underprivileged, marginalized, reluctant, other for their entire life. And then they turn 18 or 19 and they are living a life that we consider perhaps to be dysfunctional, and we wonder how they got there. If you've been called other your entire life, things aren't going to look very well for you. I posit that we have to get rid of this deficit language. And here's what's going to save us: books. The books in and of themselves will not segregate. The words do not discriminate. If we move out of the way and allow the books to do what they were intended to do, to open up doors of possibility, of potential, of purpose, then our children will feel as if they can imagine a better world for themselves and for us. I'm signing books at a conference full of beautiful teachers and librarians like yourself. It's a new picture book that I've written called Surf's Up. About 50 people are in line. I decide we're going to do an impromptu reading of the story for all the people in line. I happen to have a musician who's with me. You know what? Let's just show you what we did. All right. let's try this out, okay? We've got Team A over here, Team B over here, and Team C up here. Okay, so here we go. Boom. Boom. Ooh. Here we go. They forgot that quick. Ooh. Randy, give me a beat, something for the beach. Yeah. That's not the beach. Give me the beach. Give me the beach. Think of Beach Boys. Think. What kind of beach? Just give me a beat. You got 5 seconds. Think about it. Give me some up tempo. Come on. That's great. Keep it up. Surf's up. All right, now whisper it. Surf's up, bro. Not yet, dude. Surf's up, bro. Not yet, dude. You'd rather read a book than go to the beach? Shh, I'm almost done. Books are boring. Books are boring. Dude, books are fascinating, especially this one. So I'm reading this story, and everybody's loving it, and we're signing books, and this woman comes up to me afterwards, and she says, Kwame, I have to know. I have these kids in my library, and I need to know what color are the frogs. And so I'm flummoxed. And of course, my response is, the question is much more interesting than any answer I could give you. A couple nights ago, Randy and I are at a friend's house for dinner. And I say, Mo, has anyone ever asked you what color Elephant and Piggy are? And he says, no. He says, but Elephant is from Kenya. Go figure. Here's the thing, people. If we begin to try to segregate the literature and give books that we think this boy needs, or give books that we think a girl needs, or give books that we think this color kid needs, or this color kid needs, then we are going to begin to create the kinds of adults that we despise today. I am a huge fan of we need diverse books. However, we cannot just be advocates for diverse books. We have to pair that with equity in the classroom. They're changing my mic. Randy, can you play them a Surf's Up reprise? In order to really, truly have freedom, we need to pair diversity with equity in the classroom. And here's what I mean. During the past 9 months, I've done 177 school visits. I arrive at the school at about 7:30 in the morning. I get ushered to the gym, and the teacher who's escorting me, she says, "Kwame, good luck with these kids." And I say, "What do you mean?" And she says, "Well, some of the kids are a little rowdy, and they may not be that into poetry. Good luck with these kids." I start my presentation. There are about 4 kids over here who are loud and boisterous. There are about 6 kids over here who are kind of rowdy. It's an auditorium of 800 kids. I start my presentation. These 4 boys over here are laughing. They are cracking jokes. There's a ringleader. And so, in the middle of my presentation, I see the principal walking towards the row of boys. These 4 brown boys who are full of joy and laughter and clowning and cutting up, as my grandmother used to say. The principal's making a beeline for them, and we know what is about to happen. He's about to usher them out of the gym because they are going to make it difficult for the rest of the kids to enjoy themselves. I know these kids because I was that kid. And so he's making his way, and so I make my way to him, and we meet at this row of 4 boys, and he's about to sort of do his thing, and I say, "No, stop. I got this." And so I walk up to the boy, let's say his name is Kevin, and I say, "Kevin, how you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" And I say, "Kevin, everyone, I've got a poem for that Kevin's girlfriend wrote for him." And I say, and Kevin looks at me like, "Huh?" And there's laughter, and I say, "It is not that I don't love you," she says. "Indeed, I want to kiss you, to lasso your lips, tame them, rein them, bring them into my stable. But first, my love, you must agree to commit to a breath mint." And the entire auditorium just laughs. And Kevin looks at me like he's just scared. I have no more problems out of Kevin the entire assembly. But here's what happens. If Kevin is removed from the room, then if Kevin is not in the room where it happens, then Kevin doesn't have the opportunity to be able to open that world of possible, of potential, of purpose that literature and authors and books provide. And so, there's some other kids over here who are a little loud. And of course, I believe that the great equalizer when you're dealing with students, whether they be K to 12, and we really don't have any issue with K to 3, but when we get to sort of grade 4, we lose poetry. We forget about poetry. It becomes staid, incomprehensible, and boring. And so if we go from sort of Shel Silverstein in kindergarten and first grade, and then we expect kids to still remain excited at Shakespeare in 10th grade, something's missing. That bridge is not there. And I posit that poetry is the bridge when it's accessible, when it's relatable, when it's interesting. And so I immediately decide I'm going to continue to sort of keep Kevin because he's sort of my barometer. If I can keep Kevin engaged, then perhaps we may be on a path that Kevin and the rest of his peers will learn something significant. And so I say, I've got a poem about a boy who loves soccer. The beautiful game. You're pumped. The match is tied at the end of extra time. Players gather at center circle for the coin toss. You call tails and win. Real Madrid scores the first goal. Ours bounces off the left post. They make the next two in a row. We make three. They miss their final two. The score is 3-3. Your turn to rev the engine, turn on the jets, score, and you win. Teammates lock arms for the final kick. The crowd roars, screams your name, Nick Hall, Nick Hall. Like a Greyhound coursing game, you take off from 12 yards out, but right before the winning kick of your Barcelona debut, your teacher, Miss Hardwick, streaks across the field in her heels and purple polyester dress, yelling, "Nicholas Hall, pay attention." The thing about daydreaming in class is you forget what was happening just before 90,000 fans started cheering you to victory, so everything blurs when your best friend whispers from behind, "I think she's talking to you, bro." And your teacher slams you with a question that makes absolutely no sense. The expression "to nip something in the bud" is an example of what, Nicholas? The expression "to nip something in the bud," in the butt, is an example of how to get slapped by a girl. This, of course, sends everyone in class into fits of contagious snickering, everyone except Mrs. Hardwick. And so now I see Kevin on the edge of his seat, and he's sort of like looking, what's next? What's next? And so I say, I wrote a book about a boy who loves soccer and hates reading. And he hates reading because his father. Why couldn't your dad be a musician like Jimmy Leon's dad or own an oil company like Kobe's? Better yet, why couldn't he be a cool detective driving a sleek silver convertible sports car like Will Smith in Bad Boys? Instead, your dad's a linguistics professor with verbomania, as evidenced by the fact that he actually wrote a dictionary called Weird and Wonderful Words with, get this, footnotes. In the elementary school spelling bee, when you intentionally misspelled heifer, he almost had a cow. You're the only kid on your block, in school, in the entire freaking world who lives in a prison of words. He calls it the pursuit of excellence. You call it Shawshank. And even though your mother forbids you to say it, the truth is you hate words. And so now Kevin is like totally ignoring his friends. He is engaged. And so I decided to write a book called Booked, about a boy who loves soccer and hates reading until he meets that educator who cares enough about him, who understands that sometimes we don't need to teach the curriculum, we need to teach the child. He meets a librarian who is the coolest librarian ever. In fact, this librarian is so cool, he's a rapper. Y'all don't believe me? I think y'all want to hear the librarian rap. Yeah, but I'm gonna need some help. Bill, come here. Come on, Bill. Y'all give it up for Bill T. Okay, my friend, all you have to do is say this word, the last word in the sentence. All right, here we go. You ready? Come on up here to the mic. Y'all ready? The Mac drinks tea in a dragonfly mug. On the library floor is a dragonfly rug. The door is covered in dragonfly pics, cause skip to the Mac is dragonfly stick. Sometimes I wear a dragonfly hat, got dragonfly this and dragonfly that. Dragonfly this and dragonfly that. Dragonfly this and dragonfly. Around my room are dragonfly clocks, but please don't touch my dragonfly box. Woo! Y'all give it up for Bill. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Skip McDonald, the Mac is a corny joke-cracking 7-foot bowling fanatic with a reddish mohawk who wears funny t-shirts and high-top Converse sneakers. He used to be a rap producer, but now he only listens to whack elevator music because he says that hip-hop is dead. When I ask him who killed it, he says ringtones and objectification. Reason number one why he left the music business at age 29 to become, get this, a librarian. Reason number two is the brain surgery he had that left him with a scar that runs across his head from his left ear to his right. But he's the coolest adult in our school, and to prove it, he's got a Grammy Award for Best Rap Song sitting right at checkout for everyone to see and touch. Plus, he's won Teacher of the Year more times than Brazil has won the World Cup. So when he gets all geeked about his nerdy book club or breaks into some random rap, we're all just happy the Mac is still alive. And Kevin is so excited that he raises his hand. And I say, all right, I guess it's time for the question and answer. And Kevin says, what are you doing? And I say, and everyone in the gym is just looking flummoxed, and he says, what are you doing? And then he says, why are you here? And then he looks at me, and he's smiling, and he says, why do you do this? We do this because we believe that words can transform the world. We do this because we believe that literature transforms us. I know this because it transformed me. We do this because we want to share the power of poetry with teachers and show them that a few little words carefully placed can enlighten us, can inspire us, can make us feel better, can help us to become more human. We do this because we want to make words and books cool. We do this because I wasn't always a reader. But something changed when I found that book on the floor of my garage that ripped my heart out and stomped on it. We do this because when my AP English teacher in high school graded my 30-page thesis paper on Things Fall Apart and gave me an F because she said it was so good there's no way I could have written it. And my parents came up to the school to protest it, and the grade got changed to an A. And what about the kids who don't have the parents to come up to the school? How will they know they are worthy? We do this because I want you to know, Kevin, that you are worthy, and that by embracing words and books, you can find your voice, and you can embrace your voice. We do this because I want teachers to be reminded that they have the power to make or break young people. We do this because Claudia Rankine said, until white police officers can learn to police their imagination, black boys will continue to die. We do this because when that police officer pointed that gun in the window after having shot the boy 4 times, and his fiancée and his 4-year-old daughter were in the back seat, and the media commentator asked, I wonder what was on his mind. I can tell you what was not on his mind. Each Kindness by Jacqueline Woodson. The House on Mango Street, Chains, The Last Stop on Market Street, Man-Child in the Promised Land. You see, people, adults, the mind of an adult begins with the imagination of a child. And who are the facilitators of that imagination? It's us, Stephen. It's the teachers, it's the librarians, it's the parents, it's the children's book authors, it's the creators, it's the illustrators, it's us. We have the power to make or break a child. We have the power to make or break Kevin. He's got to be in the room. So, as you all prepare to go back into school this fall, as you get renewed and rejuvenated this summer, as you prepare to build and shape young minds in this cavernous arena of possibility, potential, and purpose, I ask you but 3 questions. What are you doing? Why are you here? And why are you doing this? If you can ask those questions, you just may give all of your students a little piece of sky. If you can know the answers to those questions, you just may help them soar. And we will all be saved. Thank you.